Hello, and we're taking a look at Legend of Korra, Book 4, Episode 7. And here's my review. Okay, so the episode's title is Reunion. So Korra meets Tenzin, the kids, everybody back at Air Temple Island in Republic Sea. She then walks off, goes out with Asami and Mako to have a meal. Wu had to go with them and everything. Then kidnapped happens and stuff like that with Wu because Korea wants Wu for unknown reasons. So we have that and everything, and then we got a bit of Bolin and Varric a little bit. They're like a comedy duo now. Those two are like comedy duos because they literally, even though Bolin doesn't like Varric as much, and everything that seems now to go towards it just seems very, very. So they meet up some escapees from Kavira's re-education camp, prison, and they capture them. They did not trust them because Varric and Bolin were still in their uniforms. Because they had no other change of clothes. So what do you expect? So at the same time, it really is groundbreaking that it is like this, and how they were treated, because it's understandable, because when they were with Kavira, what she was doing for all these people that weren't Earthbenders. She's literally, this is pretty much what the Fire Nation did back in Avatar: The Last Airbender. And she's doing pretty much a similar thing where only Earthbending citizens or people born in the Earth Kingdom or the Earth Empire now are allowed to be there. Anybody else that are Firebenders or Warbenders go straight into the re-education camp. This very seems like, she reminds me of a female Hitler with the Jews. And when he says, if they're not blonde-haired or blue-eyed, they're not part of the army, type of speak. And it really reminds me of Hitler. Don't get me wrong, she probably is worse than him, but how it seems here, by people that aren't Earthbenders and sent to re-education, into the re-education camp, feel like they're the Jews getting sent to concentration camps. So the Warbenders and Firebenders that were living peacefully in these villages that got captured by Kavira, and these Firebenders get sent to these re-education camps, remind me that they're Jews. Like, you're a Jew, you're going there. You're a Jew, you're going there. So that's what reminds me a lot about it. It really reminds me of everything. So it reminds me a lot about that. So then they decided to help them and rescue them and break them out more. There's one character, there's a Firebender that looks like One, the very first Avatar out of the original cycle, before it got restarted with Korra being the first Avatar, because when Rava rejoined her back in Book 2 at the end. But anyway, I digress. And he looks very much like One, the very first Avatar, and I was thinking, could he be a descendant of One? A very, 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 like, so many rates, because of how many Avatars there were. Could he be a descendant of One? Because he looks like him, minus the voice. He looks really like him. The hair, a little bit of a stubble, not a full-on beard, just a little bit of stubble, but that's enough to make him look like One. So it makes me wonder, is he a descendant of One? I want to know a little bit more, because I know we might not see a lot more now at the moment with these guys, but it's everything. So we go back to Republic Sea, and Korra and everybody noticed that Wu was taking a long time in the bathroom. So Mako goes to the loo, seeing what's taking him so long. And then Korra knows some guys are actually from the Earth Empire, kidnap him and put him in the truck. So they go after him all the way to the train station. And then some nice metal bending, earth bending fights happened on top of the train. Very nicely animated, done, and I really enjoyed that bit. But it was the end of the episode that really got me really interesting. Kavira and everybody else ended up at the swamp and cutting like vines and everything from the tree. But the swamp tree is the big spiritual tree that lasted and was around for so many years. It was there since Avatar: The Last Bender. It was standing right there in that same place, covering most of the swamp. And Kavira's there now going to cut it down for their spirit vine machine they were creating. So it's going to make me weird, because we know Toph lives there now. She lives at that swamp. So next episode has got me very interesting. What are we going to see next episode? Are we going to see a pissed off Toph going all earthbending madness to fight Kavira. Toph is one of my favourite characters in Avatar, and when I speak like that, but man, oh god, literally, Toph's gonna be pissed that Kavira's in her home, taking pieces of her home, and hopefully she doesn't get treated like Zuko. We haven't seen Toph fight. We only saw bits of her younger adult self fight. I want to see a proper badass Toph fight at her current age as we see her now, because she's Toph. She's the original Beifong, as she says, even though she has her parents, but I think her because of the bridge between the parents gap, I think was big. If you haven't read the comics, you won't understand. If you haven't read the comics, you won't understand. So, but it must have been that big, and everything. So she calls herself the original Beifong. She's the creator of metal bending. It wouldn't surprise me that she knows lava bending. She knows all forms of earth bending, all the art styles for earth bending. She was taught by moles how to properly earth bend. She can see with her feet and everything. So if they treat her like saying, she's not as good anymore type thing, I think a lot of us been waiting for Toph to get in some action here, because it's Toph. We know how great she was back in Avatar, and we want to see her again. But everything else in this episode was really, really great, really well filmed, well animated. The fight scenes on the train was well done. The chase scene was well done. The cell shading CGI used here for the cars and everything was well done. And everything was just really greatly, perfectly done. And it was fantastic. I really enjoyed this episode. It was really well done and it was really well received. I really recommend it for you guys. If you haven't watched it, check it out at nick.com. The link will be down in the description below, so you can check out this episode. If you are an outside the United States resident, like I am, and you use Google Chrome as your internet browser, then download the add-on called hola.org. Episode 7, The Reunion, The Legend of Korra, Book 4. Great episode. I really cannot wait for next week. Hopefully we'll get some Toph action. I have been your host, and this has been my very first review of Avatar, Legend of Korra. I've decided to do it from this point because I might do a complete recap of each season as it progresses, so you guys get to see it, know my thoughts of each season onwards. But this episode is really great. I really enjoyed it. There was a little bit of stuff there and here, but it was a really well done episode. Very well. Felt like the gang was back, minus Bolin, is back together, doing what they always done in Republic City, and it felt like old times. And it's great that we see Korra finally in her water tribe gear as well. So I say check the link down in the video description below, and the link to the episodes will be there as well, so you guys can watch it. And like I said, get the add-on of hola.org as well if you use Google Chrome. And I'll see you next time. Bye bye for now.